2023 was one of the biggest sewing years for me so far, so I wanted to take a second and go through everything that I learned this year, all of my failures, successes, my favorite projects, every juicy little detail from my sewing journey this year. We're about to get into the full 2023 debrief. I'm excited, grab a cup of tea and let's do it. Oh, but before we start, if we haven't met, my name is Carly. I'm a sewist and a maker here on YouTube, but you can also find me on Instagram and TikTok and Pinterest and my website. I run a small business called From Carly B and I make clothing that's one of a kind and made usually from secondhand material or scraps or remnants, and it's my absolute pride and joy. And that's a little bit about me. Since starting my business in 2021, I've had to learn so much along the way, and it really has just been a big, long experiment of trial and error and seeing what works. And there is so much that I still want to learn and explore in my business running journey. That is why I'm so excited to say that my sponsor for this video today is Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community that has thousands of engaging and amazing classes led by world-class creatives who have launched their own lucrative side incomes. If you're interested in making 2024 the year that your side hustle comes to life, then you might be interested in one of their many classes on marketing, freelancing, graphic design, or social media. Now, there are a lot of classes in my saved folder on Skillshare at the moment. I'm so interested in taking more classes on embroidery, even color grading for my photography skills, and yoga. And that is actually sewing related because it helps with the neck and back pain that I experience very often with my sewing practice, as I'm sure many of you do as well. But I've been really enjoying the class I've been taking at the moment by Isis Brianna, Building Your Dream Business, Craft Your Purpose and Online Presence. Most of you all know that I do post across a lot of platforms on the internet, and sometimes it does become quite overwhelming. So I have been enjoying and valuing the learning about batch creating content, how to do it, a great schedule to do it, some tips and tricks, and even just how to align all of those posts with your brand identity. It's been really encouraging to take this class and just put a few things into my pocket that's going to help me run my business more smoothly and efficiently in 2024. Skillshare is the perfect place for creative individuals to take their passion to paycheck, and I know a lot of you are creative people with your own side hustles, and that's why I'm excited that Skillshare has a great deal for you. The first 500 people to click the link in my bio will receive 1 month free of Skillshare, which is a great deal, so click that link and get started on your very own explorative learning journey with Skillshare. I know you'll find a class that interests you and that can help you seed your side hustle. Thank you so much to Skillshare for sponsoring this video, and without further ado, it is time to get into the 2023 sewing debrief. Okay, let's get into it.
Okay, let's go.
I'm really excited to go through all of these pieces with you. This is not everything I've made, but it's just most of the things. I probably am missing some that I didn't take photos of, but whatever. Contextually, I started sewing at the end of 2021, so I had 1 year of sewing experience, and 2023 is my second year of sewing. And we really went for it. Okay, first item, this blue ruffle dress. I was really into ruffles. I just needed to do ruffles. I wanted to experiment and I hated making this. It took so long. It was so hard to get through the machine. It was not wide enough to like wrestle. I wrestled this piece. I really like the end result though. Then the next piece that I made was my YouTube video. I think it was the first YouTube video I made, and it's this like quilted organza scrap pinafore dress. I love it. This one took a really long time too. The concept is that you sandwich a bunch of scrap material in between a see-through fabric and a lining, and I had this lime green sparkling organza from a Lincraft collaboration like the year before, and I don't know what was going through my head when I bought it, but I just did not know how to use it at all. But I love the way it looks for this project because it just like kind of subdues that lime greenness and just added like a small filter over all the scraps. You know what I mean? Anyway, whatever. Loved it. Then I started getting the chance to be more creative because of YouTube. Previously with my small business, I would just do a bunch of drops of my clothing, and the clothing would be all unique but relatively similar, like a similar bodice, a similar skirt, like pretty easy to replicate. But with YouTube, it kind of gave me a chance to just start exploring making stuff for myself and also learning some new skills. So this Harry Styles album cover duplication was one of the exciting times in this year where I really started to learn some new techniques, and I realized how exciting it was. I made both the top and the pants. It took me, I think, 3 or 4 days all up. I made the Anna Allen Clothing Persephone pants. They were my first zipped fly pant, and I loved the pattern. Love, love, love. I was terrified, but the instructions were so clear that they came out a treat. I have made a lot of Anna Allen clothing pants since then, and I am still struggling to find my perfect fit. But do you know what? I think that that's just life, and that's just making jeans, and that's just pants, and etc. But yeah, loved making those pants. And this top, I learned a bit about smocking to do it. I ended up not doing like technical smocking, but I just did like a zigzag stitch over my gathered lines, and it looked good. It didn't look great, like the way smocking looks great, but learning the technique was still very rewarding and exciting. I made quite a few collars. I will insert all collars of the year in this section here. Love me a frilly collar. There's not really much more to it. I sold them on my website. I think I did a tutorial. That's all. Then I made this sweet little yellow dress, and it was made out of secondhand materials, and it was super duper cute. And I think this is when I started understanding how to put a collar onto a dress. I had done it a few times before, but I didn't really understand, like, sometimes I would just have weird excess fabric in my pattern, and I don't know, it was just like looking a bit funky. After this dress, I started to understand, and that's just like a pivotal moment for me. The next make is this really cute little patchwork A-line dress. There's not much to it. I really like her. I gave the collar some thick interfacing, and it just stood really nice and crisp, and yeah, I'm really proud of this one. I then made my marshmallow dress, which some of you may know. It's a pattern breakdown I have on my Patreon, and it was wild. It was a little bit wild. I gathered it so much in the top 2 tiers that I think the rest of the circumference of the dress was like, it was like 10 meters. It was, whatever it was like ridiculous. It was so heavy. When you walked in it, it was like just an absolute being swarmed with fabric, but I love this piece. It's so fun. Every time I look at it, I just wish that it was on my body and I could just like do a big twirl in it, and I think that's a good sign. Sadly, because I make dresses for my business, I sell all of my dresses, and sometimes I look back at photos and I'm like, oh, I wish I kept that one, but whatever. Made a really cool like High School Musical dress. It was just a really simple tiered gather dress. That's pretty standard for my business. It was cute. Then for the months of like March, April, May, I made a lot of customs, and they were all this tulle gathered dress. I have a YouTube tutorial for this as well. It's called How to Make a Gathered Fairy Dress, I think. And I think they made like 16 of these this year. So I really hermited for a few months, and I just did these, and it kind of drove me a bit crazy. If you've made one of these from my YouTube tutorials, you'll know that making them takes so long. So long. And the sewing is so boring. It's just like straight line for 25 meters, and then you have to French seam and top stitch every seam. Well, that's what I did for my design. So every round of tier that I added was 3 rounds, attaching it, French seaming it, and top stitching it. And anyway, these dresses broke my brain. When I look back at them, I love them. So that's the moral of the story of like so much of what I make. Broke my brain, I loved it. Then I made this coat. I got really into listening to the 1975, and I saw this one clip of Maddie Healy wearing a trench coat, and I was like, dang, trench coats are cool. And I wanted to make my own version of a trench coat. This garment was by no means perfect, but I do really like the creative design of it. I like the colors. I like that the patchworking has like some curves and some interesting shape to it, and I really like the big collar. What was bad about it? The buttonholes. Buttonholes was something that I learned this year, and I will talk more about my buttonhole tips, so stay tuned. Another A-line dress. This was really similar to my last A-line dress with the pointy collar, and the only difference was that I quilted this, and yeah, really like this one. Cute. Okay, my second pair of Anna Ellen pants. These also are the Persephone pants, but I made them into shorts. I sized down, too small this time. Like I said, I really went through a sizing journey this year, but they came out great. My construction was better. I think the buttonhole was still bad at this stage. I was hand stitching my buttonhole because I didn't know how to get it through my machine successfully. I do now. Yeah, that buttonhole makes it look a little bit homemade, and that's sad. The concept here was cool, but I haven't really worn them because they're just a bit small. Okay, I love this shirt. I really worked hard on drafting this pattern. I think the collar was the first time I got it really perfect, and I learned how to do that with the draping on my bodice form. And the sleeve is the reason I really do love this though, because the sleeve is a puff sleeve, but not achieved through gathering. I don't know what the shape's called. I feel like it's a lantern, but I'm sorry if I butchered it. I think it's a lantern sleeve. I learned it through Pinterest. Sometimes if you Google on Pinterest, you can find patterns for certain sleeves and shirts and skirts. And I found this pattern and it blew my mind. I had to just have a play and figure it out for myself, and I love this shape sleeve. I love it. I made some more pieces for my website. Here they are. This one and this one. Love them. Pretty simple. A lot of the same. All secondhand materials. Love. Had a lot of fun. Ah, my birthday. April 6th. I needed to make a birthday outfit, which is customary. And I wanted to try again at the Anna Ellen jean pants situation. I, however, did not make the Persephone pants again. I made the Helene jeans, which are kind of more of a classic straight cut. They have all of the classic jean things, the pockets and the belt loops and everything. And I got this beautiful denim from We Are The Fabric store, and I loved these jeans. My construction this time was so good. I was just determined. It was like I couldn't figure it out and I needed to. What helped me with my jean construction for this pair in particular was hammering all of my seams to make them less bulky. And instead of using a really expensive thick thread from Gooderman, I ended up just doubling up my polyester thread and putting both of those threads through the needle. And I really enjoyed that stitch look more than I did the thicker thread. But yeah, hammering the seams just makes or breaks. Unfortunately, these jeans were a bit big, but it's all good. We won't talk about that. I made this top for my birthday. It's literally so simple, and I made it out of green linen, and that's all. I made some more bobble stitch jumpers. This is my absolute standard. I love making them, and I will insert every bubble stitch jumper I made right here because we don't need to talk about them again. I make them usually with crochet ribbing, but at the end I learned how to do knitted ribbing as well, and I loved it. That was because I also made this jumper from Cardigan. They sent me this cardigan kit, and that's how I learned how to knit. And once I learned how to knit, then I could do the knitted ribbing, which I just love. That was game changing for me as well. I went to my friend's bridal shower and her wedding, and I made 2 outfits for them. I made a collared shirt inspired by a Pinterest thing I had seen, and I made this gathered tiered skirt, and I think I made a tutorial on that as well, so check that out if you want. I enjoyed making these. I don't love the shirt. I made some adjustments to the pattern that I used, and I think that they were weird adjustments, but literally living and learning. This was the first time also that my buttonholes on the shirt were aligned, and they looked actually good, so progress, people. And I went to her wedding, and I made the Nunzia dress by Vicky Sews, and this is one of my proudest makes of the year, for real. This one I also made for a YouTube video, so you can check that out if you want. I made it out of a double Ponte de Roma, I believe that's what it's called, fabric, and it just had a slight stretch, but mainly was just heavy and draped so beautifully, and it was a cold wedding, and the fabric literally made this project for me, and it was probably around about this time in the year when I realized that fabrication is make or break. It's absolutely make or break. I'm really proud of the patchworking on this piece. Oh, me and my boyfriend designed t-shirts. They were cool. We didn't make them, we ordered them from an ethical supplier, and we printed them ourselves, and I love them. They're super cute. I made a custom milkmaid dress. I made some more Persephone pants. I really was just trying over and over again to perfect the pants. Oh, remember those t-shirts I made with my boyfriend? We didn't sell like 20 of them. We ordered 50 and we had like 20 left over. It was kind of sad. And we didn't break even on them. So I was like, don't worry, I'm gonna upcycle a bunch of them and see if we can just get them to move. So I will insert all of the t-shirts that I upcycled here. I did a lot of hand stitching for the center appliques for these. I found them, they're like secondhand fabrics, or they were just really cool fabrics that I had around, like doilies and that kind of thing. Hand stitched them, and I added puff sleeves to most of these shirts. I also this time started getting a bit obsessed with making my tags look really interesting on the inside, and you'll see more of them later. But yeah, did a bunch of these t-shirts, was just trying to make my money back, and we did in the end, so that was great. We arrived at the fairy wedding dress, one of my proudest makes of the year. This was like full-time work for a whole month. I worked so hard on this piece. It was probably about 12 meters of fabric around the bottom, and there was so much hand stitching. I did a lot of beading and sequin stitching, and there were like bows and trims and tulle, and yeah, you can just see that this piece was big. Me and my boyfriend went to Lennox Head and we took photos there, and it was kind of magical. And yeah, this was a really beautiful time of the year for me, and it kind of got me through the winter time, so that was really special. At this time as well, which I made my camera bag, which is also another YouTube tutorial for this year, and that was something I'd never done before in my entire life. It was the Ansel bag. I bought it off Etsy, and it went great. It went great. I use that camera bag every single week, so it's holding up, and I'm really glad that I made it and I didn't purchase it from someone else. Like it does everything I need it to do, and that's always a really exciting feeling when you make your own clothes and stuff. It's like, wow, this functions for the reasons I need it to, you know? This was like a little happy scrappy jumper. I crocheted this one and I loved it. This is one of the pieces I think I wish I kept. I really loved this piece, and it was part of my determination to just use up a bunch of my scrap yarn, which I have a lot of because my grandma gave me buckets of yarn when she moved out of her house. So yeah, still getting through that yarn. Okay. I think this is my 4th time now, maybe my 5th time at the Anna Ellen pants. These are the Helene jeans. I made a YouTube tutorial for these as well, and this is the most perfect fit I've gotten so far. It's so close to being perfect. I kind of messed up the fly a little bit, but that's it. They're really nice. I love the patchworking on them. I love the quilted pockets and the quilted knees, and I wear these all the time, which is always a good sign. And I had to just make this little top to match it, and that was so extra of me, but yeah. It was at this time in the year where I was trying to learn more about how to make a top fit you better without using a zipper, because mainly I stuck to really oversized tops. But yeah, that's what this bow situation was at the back, just trying to see if I could make a top snug without a zipper. Progress report, I'm getting less afraid of zippers now, so that's sick. Some more things I made for my small business. This little tie vest, because I could see that it was kind of trending online and I liked it. It was super patchworked and sweet. The Barbie movie came out, and I obviously had to make a Barbie inspired dress. This was the angel dress, and I made it for my website. It was fully lined. The patchworking was intense, and it just had these really cool like ruffles and trims. I think it was like a bias tape that I wrapped around the dress to give it all of this movement, and I really like how it just feels energetic to me. Yeah, this one didn't sell on my website for a really long time, and I get scared when stuff doesn't sell. It's scary when you make one-of-a-kind stuff because you really want it to sell, but I never know if it will, because it's completely unique most of the time. So I just try and make stuff that's cool in my eye, and hopefully someone else thinks that it's cool and it fits them, it's their size. It took a while to sell, but when it did I was really excited, and I also made this Sandy Liang inspired headband and I sent it to that customer too because I was like, these pieces go together really well. But yeah, I was really proud of that piece. I need to take a quick moment to say how excited I was to make this horsey t-shirt. I had 4 of these horse panels and every single one of them was one of my favorite pieces ever, and I should have kept one for myself but I didn't. Oh, an exciting project emerges. One of the drama teachers from my old school messaged me a few nights before their musical started. It was The Little Mermaid, and she was like, we need our princess dress to be more magical. Can you do something? And I was like, can I do something? Can I? And I was like, yes. I had one day to work on this dress and I just went ham. I just tried to elongate the skirt, give it some more volume with some tulle, and I made these enormous puff sleeves just to try and get the same vibe as the Ariel sleeve. And I also added a bunch of sequins all over the dress just to give it shimmer when she danced. And I stayed up all night hand gluing these on. I wish that I could have spent more time on this, but for one day's work I was really proud of that transformation. And then arrives the Jo March dress. This was another YouTube tutorial dress and I love it. I kept this one for myself and I'm so happy that I did. The tulle petticoat makes it for me. It just felt very magical and sweet. And I liked the fit of this. I really started around this time of the year to be concerned about how things fit and how they draped. Not that I wasn't before, but I just became more interested in and invested. And yeah, I made a few of these dresses and I love them all equally. This one here was made up from this huge patchwork that I did in the first few months of the year where I just did 10 squares a day and I patched them all together in rows, and I made this huge fabrication and it was exciting to use. We're getting to the end. Here's another YouTube tutorial. You've already seen it. It's this little Pinterest inspired set. It's cute and I've worn it about 1,000 times since, which is always a good sign. Another YouTube tutorial item here, the happiest skirt ever. This one felt like it was truly me in a garment. I took these photos at my local shopping centre and then I had to just like get something from Coles or something, and I walked to the shopping centre and people were just staring at me, like really staring, and I felt powerful in it. I was like, stare, I made this. Maybe you think I look crazy, but I kind of do. And I like it. Anyway. Oh, then I made the Cecile Barnson inspired dress. This is one of my most recent YouTube videos and this one was brain breaking and I'm still not ready to look at it. However, some of you have given me some amazing insights on how to make it better and I think I do need to recreate it. Even though it broke my brain, I am dying to recreate it in a cotton and implement some of the tips and tricks that you guys gave me in the comments. I think I have some revelations on how to make it better and I'm gonna have to revise it, so that's that. Are you having fun? I'm just rapid fire going through these things. I hope you're keeping up. We're in October, by the way. This is the birth month of my boyfriend, which really takes up my attention for the entire month. So I decided this year I would make a pair of rock climbing pants because we've been rock climbing a lot. And I think I made these based off the bob pants pattern, which is a pattern I've used again and again and again, and I just slightly amended it because I knew that they fit him. I had made them for him before. I think I bought 5 different shades of cotton canvas, or maybe it was like duck. It was like a thick cotton fabric, and I did all of this patchworking for them. I designed these big pockets at the front. I added like a cool little belt. I added a little carabiner hook at the back for a chalk bag. I also added those like athletic little ties that you see on sweatpants and like track pants where you can like cinch them in with elastic and that little thing. That was a new thing for me. Another new thing that I did for these pants was I printed on my fabric. I actually taped a piece of cotton onto a piece of A4 paper, put it in my printer, and I printed a little like letter for my boyfriend, and I used that as the tag for the pants. It took me about 20 times, it jammed so many times, but the end result is so nice. I think I would definitely do it again. Also, I did 4 buttonholes for these pants for the ties at the top and the ties at the bottom, and they looked really good, and I don't have any pictures of them, but I'm really proud of my buttonholes. Moving right on, I made some more dresses from my website and I really liked them. That's all. They're happy, they're patchworked, they're secondhand materials, and that's all I need to say about them. Oh! At the end of this year, I was like, I need to make a dent in the fabric stash that I have. I don't buy a lot of new fabric, but still, I have a stash. I have these 2 big wool blankets, and I was like, y'all need to go. You take up so much space. And I made these 2 jumpers with them, and I just love them. It was 2 different blanket types, and I used both colorways in the jumper. I added a really nice little fleece hem facing, which you can't see in these photos, but it was so cute. And a little hand stitched tag went in. It had a little date on them. And both jumpers sold to the same person, so I guess they wanted the matching set, and I was very thrilled about that. We're getting to the end of the year. The dress that I'm wearing right now. This dress is the damsel dress by one of my all-time favorite designers, Roberts Wood. They have the most exquisite, intricate patterns, and it is becoming a little bit of a tradition to make one of their dresses each year. I made this guy last year and I made this one this year, and I love it. Both took a very long amount of time, but that's not a problem. Also, November was the month that I got really obsessed with hand stitching tags with like the date or a little message, and I did that for this dress and I loved it. I also did it for this dress, my white summer dress, which you would have seen in the last YouTube tutorial, and I just think it adds so much sweetness to the piece. Makes me feel happy when I put it on my body. Okay, we're officially at the last garment of 2023. This is my garden wedding dress, which is a reprise of my fairy wedding dress. I had a lot of lace and chiffon and just like white-ish fabrics in my stash, and I was like, y'all gotta go. And what better way than making a big patchwork wedding dress? And yeah, this piece took me all of November to make. It is absolutely swarming with all of these little details. The framework is just a huge patchwork of all of these secondhand fabrics, and on top are like secondhand laces, trims, ribbons, bias tape details, ruffles, tulle, and I did all of this hand beading and embellishment on the dress as well, so you can see it's sparkling when you move. There were about 20 of these little sequin flowers all over the dress, and I hand stitched them with beads and sequins all around the outsides, and it's probably my favorite detail of the dress, aside from the tag, which again I hand stitched, and I just love it. Anyway, oh my gosh, we made it to the end. I think this is a long video and I apologize for that, but if you made it to the end, you are amazing and I love you. Thank you for watching my progression of my sewing projects throughout 2023. This year was a great year of sewing. I made a lot for my business, but the things that really pushed my sewing skills ahead was making other people's patterns. I learned this year that patterns are such a great tool for teaching you how to do something you've never done before, and I was so excited to learn how to do the pants with a fly and a zipper, how to perfect that buttonhole, how to do a more structured garment. Also, this garment has an invisible zipper, and that was something new for me that I could learn. Getting to touch on some embroidery was really fun, some hand stitching was really fun, and yeah, I can't tell you what my favorite piece was out of all of these pieces, but you can, so let me know what your favorite was, and let me know what your favorite piece was that you made during 2023. I would love to know. Okay, that's all for real. Thanks for listening to me jabber on. Merry Christmas, God bless, and I hope you have an amazing holiday season. I will see you very soon in the next video. Bye!